Welcome to Art Loves Fashion. I'm your host, Sharonda Irvin. I'm an image consultant, professional developer, art curator and collector, a wife and a mom. This show, Art Loves Fashion, is about, you guessed it, art, love, and fashion. We'll be meeting new people, trying interesting things, and hopefully learning something new. Sounds kind of vague, right? That's because I want you to join me on Sundays at 5 o'clock as we take a journey of all things creative and beautiful with art, loves, fashion. Hello, everyone. This is Sharonda Irvin, your host of Art Loves Fashion. Happy Sunday. Welcome to another conversation about all things beautiful and creative. I am so super excited that I have a very special guest today. And I'll introduce you to her and then let her tell you all about her journey as a mompreneur and just like all around boss. She calls herself a mompreneur, but like she just is a straight up boss, if you ask me. And so before I call her on, I wanted to, well, actually, let me introduce her and she can just join in for all the segments because I'm just going to hold her hostage. I didn't tell her that ahead of time, but. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Natasha Cameron. And Natasha, like I said, her title is Mompreneur. And I will let you, when we get to her segment, I'll tell you her list of boss lady accomplishments. Welcome to the show, Natasha.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So Natasha, thank you for joining us. I know you have a super busy schedule, so I had to like put my bid in like, hey, you kind of put this bid in like super early so you can clear a little bit of space on your calendar. So thank you so much. So today for my art segment, I wanted to talk about I know if you like are a movie watcher or if you're even sort of like into like Entertainment Weekly and those kinds of shows, you can't help but have seen the reviews and previews of Ma Rainey's Black Bottom because it's been all over. And, you know, that was Chadwick Boseman's last film and, you know, all of the accolades that he's receiving for his performance in that, as well as Viola Davis's portrayal of Ma Rainey. So I wanted to bring it up because when I watched it, I was surprised. Have you seen it, Natasha?
I haven't.
Okay, right, because you're busy. You don't have time for TV. And you know, in my house, like we're movie watchers, so like that's kind of part of our like quality time is watching movies. And so, you know, and me being a history buff and like I love Viola Davis, like, you know, some really heavy hitters in the film. So I was excited and it was getting all this buzz. So I have to say that I felt like, well, let me say this. Let me give you a little bit of background if you haven't had a chance to watch it or haven't seen any of the press around it, or what do you call it, like the press junkets that they do. So it's so August Wilson, who is a very famous, very prolific African-American playwright. He wrote a whole suite of plays that sort of chronicles the experience of African Americans in the 20th century. And so there's a project that they are to get all of his plays to the screen. So there's Fences and I can't remember what was the other one. Fences, and then there's the other one with, I think that's the one with Denzel and Viola Davis. So now here enter Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. This, and it was written in 1984. However, it's from the setting is like Chicago in the 1920s. So it's around the historical time of the Great Migration. African Americans are leaving the South, they're coming north in search of like new opportunities, and like now we have records and like the music is all over. Ma Rainey is this big blues singer, and she's really well known because she's very like what they call bawdy. So she's like all kinds of sexual and just like really like she's a blues singer, but her music is really um bawdy is the best word to describe it. She's not in that category of like the demure singers and like, keeping it proper. Her shows is like, dresses hiked up and cleavage and singing about all kinds of racy subjects. And she's very, really, really, really well known. And so the play is about her and her band. And they're coming to Chicago. They're in the middle of a tour. They come to Chicago to do a recording. And she's got a white manager. And of course, the like record label is a white record label. So as I'm watching it, so the thing that was surprising to me is because when I watched the clips, I thought it was about the music. I thought it was almost like about her tour. Because when you watch the clips, they show her stage performance, they show them practicing and rehearsing, but that's only like the first couple of minutes into the film. The rest of it, I start realizing it almost comes across like a one-room stage play because the bulk of the film takes place either in the main floor where they're recording or in the basement. And it kind of goes back and forth between Ma Rainey's like parts and then Chadwick Boseman, his character is Levy. It goes back and forth between their two, like they're the main focus of the production. Now the thing that surprised me, like I said, I thought it was about her artistry and the like idea of this black woman with this amazing music career touring around and that kind of thing. But it really centers around the hardships and the like struggle of her being this black woman musician and like her having to fight to maintain control of her artistry and like not let these white guys just bulldoze over her. But really, once she makes this record and signs these papers, she really is signing over control of her music over to them. So like there's these parts where she like demands them to go get her Coca-Cola. And she's like, I don't care. I'm not doing nothing until they go get me this Coca-Cola. And they like, two? She like, matter of fact, I want two. And they're like, what? And she's like, you getting ready to make thousands of dollars or whatever, all this money off of my music. The least you can do is buy me a $5 Coca-Cola. Now I felt that. And I felt like where they were going with her character because it's a great story, like a black woman artist, the head of her band, trying to like not only get respect as a blues singer, as a Southern, probably like representing music that's really Southern in nature, and then being a woman. So she had to be bossy, so to speak. But they didn't really like, I felt like they didn't really get into all the nuances of what that meant. I feel like they just kind of made her seem brash and like really kind of like almost uncouth rather than really showing the nuance of what it took to be her. And then on the flip side, the rest of the action is happening in the basement with Chadwick Boseman's character, Levy, who is also super like brash. And he represents like, he's like a younger guy. He wants to do a whole new sound with the music. So they're constantly arguing back and forth. And he's arguing with the entire band. And through his performance, you see where all of his pain comes from. And they explore that side of like racism and what it does to like to his what it did to his character as well. So this is what I want to say about it. from a historical perspective, I thought it was great. We all respect August Wilson. So I would say, like, definitely watch it. But for me, this was not, I felt like it's an unpopular opinion. Although, as I was researching, I did see an article in this magazine called Vulture, who also did not give it great reviews. Because everybody's like, it's fantastic. At the end, I was sitting up there kind of mad. I did not think, I thought that they could have taken this film in a completely different direction. And I felt like at the end of it, it was another struggle bus black film. And I, for one, am like, okay, I love that our stories are making it to the big screen. I love to see all of our like heavy hitting actors, and even there was some really good actors in this production. But I just wasn't ready for a struggle bus film yet again. And I feel like there were other ways that they could have told the struggle bus story, but there was so much other stuff that they could have touched on to make it so much more of a nuanced film. So I just would like to hear other people's opinion about it. I still recommend to go see it. It was interesting to watch Viola Davis because her nose was not running. And we know. And I think she must have got tired of people like making jokes about her with that. When she gets emotional, her character's nose, her nose starts running when she gets emotional. So she must have been working on that because her nose did not run. And it was good to see Chadwick Boseman because they both did a phenomenal job in their performance. But I personally was disappointed in the film. Hit me up, argue with me. I love to hear somebody else's opinion. So with that, that is the art segment. I wanted to keep it super brief. Go check out Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. It is on Netflix. Most people probably have seen it, but quite a few people say they haven't. So, check it out. It's worth a watch. Now, let's go ahead and transition into our love segment. And as you guys know, the love segment for me tends to be kind of an eclectic segment because I don't only talk about like relationship love. I like to talk to people who are doing things that they love, and usually I love to talk to people who are doing something that is outside of the box, or who have decided to follow their passion and um, and their purpose, and talk to them about that aspect of love, doing something you love. So enter my friend and boss mompreneur, Natasha is here with us today. First of all, Natasha, list for me, why do you call yourself a mompreneur? We hear that title. Tell me what that means.
So for me, I'm a mompreneur because I'm a mom first, but I also successfully operate several small businesses, a nonprofit. I'm a newly published author. I serve on the board of directors at for my local chamber of commerce. I have two sons, 22 and 13, and one daughter, 4. And then I also have 3 bonus children and 2 little ones that my oldest bonus daughter allows to call me Gigi. So that's what being a mompreneur is.
Now, that's a long list, right?
Yeah.
First of all, let's real quick plug these businesses, because
Right.
so tell me your businesses.
So Thomas Williams,
The one that is your most recent, not the book, but your most recent is your beauty supply store. Is
the
that the
beauty
most
supply
recent?
store. Yeah, the beauty supply store is the most recent. But Thomas Williams is my property management company, which I've been in property management since 2000. Um, and I started my property management company in 2012. So in 2012, I started my property management company, and then I kind of branched off. If you know anything about property management, there's several different layers to it. So you have a maintenance side, you have collection side and all that. And typically property management companies will have those departments within the company. So within my property management company, I have probably about 3 other businesses within, because we have a maintenance division, we have our collections division, and all that stuff. So that's one thing. And just a little bit about property management. Typically, property management companies are owned by middle-aged white men. So it's really seldom that you will find a young Black woman that owns a property management company. I think I'm probably the only one that I kind of know of, young Black female that owns a property management company. Most of them are actually owned by middle-aged white men.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that's Thomas Williams. And so the other thing is, everything that I do is kind of tied in to what my kids. So Thomas Williams was my first business that I ever started, that I was successful at starting. Let me put it that way.
Right.
And it's actually named after my oldest son. My oldest son has a name in that. Williams is his part of that business. So then I also have the beauty supply store, which is 80 Beauty and Hair, and that is named after Alima and Dylan, which are my younger 2 children.
Mm-hmm.
And so the beauty supply store opened online in 2018, basically because I just wanted to have another stream of income, and I started researching
2018?
in 2018.
Oh my goodness, time flies.
Yeah, we started online in 2018, and I wanted another stream of income. I wasn't, it wasn't that I didn't want to do property management anymore, but I just, I feel like you should have at least 7 streams of income. And so I started researching, and at that time there was a lot going on online where Black women were being mistreated when we go into beauty supply stores or into nail salons. And then I think that's when I really got serious about or intentional about where I spend my dollars. And so I just, became really, I don't want to say pro, only working with Black businesses, but I was, like I said, I just became intentional about, let me see if I can find a Black-owned, nail salon or this and that. And so when I did the research and saw that Black or African Americans spend about 73 million of the $82 million that is spent every year in the beauty supply industry, but we only own 3%, like across the United States. There are only about 3% Black owned beauty supplies. So I was just like, that's a no-brainer. I'm going to get into this. So I did the research, and that's how we started that. And then again, with the same thing with the beauty supply store, we have so many things within the beauty supply store that we kind of branch off. We good?
Yes. No. Okay. My camera went off.
Okay. You was looking like you couldn't hear me. So.
No, I can hear you, but you lost. I'm sorry.
So we have
my camera, so I was just trying to rectify. But we have you though.
Okay. So we have so many things that goes on in the beauty supply store that sets us apart from any other beauty supply store also. One of the things I see that you have the flyer up for Small Business Saturday, for the Culture Small Business Saturday. So I started that basically to give other small businesses that didn't have a platform or didn't have a place to go, that may have just been kind of selling from home, a place where they can come and do a pop-up shop.
Yeah.
And so every Saturday,
I get to see all the yummy snacks and all the like.
Yep.
What was that one thing that was the funnel cake?
Oh, that's the funnel cake. She just did it for it was like Christmas Eve or something like that. But yeah, she's been doing a lot. But basically, I wanted to open my space up to other Black-owned businesses or small businesses. Most of them have been Black. It's actually been a couple of other businesses that weren't, Black-owned, but most of them have been Black-owned businesses where they'll come and they'll set up and they introduce their product or whatever they're selling to the community, and they know they can just kind of come to the beauty supply store every Saturday and set up to do Small Business Saturday. I mean, there is a application they have to fill out to, make sure that they reserve that date. But for the
Right.
most part, yeah. Last year, every date was free. So I was just allowing people to come up and do it for free. This year we have made a few changes. There will be a small fee, but just kind of one of the things that I learned was that when you people don't necessarily I don't want to say respect something when it's free. I guess they don't really
Value it.
value it when it's free. So we do have a small fee this year, but we basically do
Isn't that
that.
interesting? It's interesting how when something is inexpensive or free, we undervalue it rather than appreciate the opportunity and the
Exactly.
exposure. That's why it's weird because it's like, you know who said that? I want to say I was listening to somebody and they were talking about Nipsey Hussle. And he
Hmm.
was saying, and I think he says it in one of his songs, like, no, you're going to charge higher prices because if you charge higher prices, it makes it more attainable or like not attainable, it makes it more aspirational. And
Right.
like so that's like that was one of his business strategies, like, for our clothing or whatever it was they were talking about, they were like, no, you're gonna charge top dollar because people will value it more because it costs more.
Absolutely. And it was kind of weird because to me, for the culture small business Saturday to me was kind of my way of giving back to the community. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I don't want to charge a fee. I just want people to come and set up and do their vending. And to me, it was a kind of, we scratch each other's back because if you come and set up as a vendor, you'll bring your customers. Now they know that I'm here and they'll
Right.
shop at the store and you
Right.
got to, meet my customers and then, but it didn't necessarily work out like that. So this year we're going to do a little bit different, and typically I do it from January to October 31st, and then November and December we don't typically do anything because there's holidays and so much stuff going on.
Right.
So we have that at the store. Also, I have a recycling program at the store where if you bring any type of recyclables to the store, like hair, skincare.
So they
um,
can recycle their product containers.
Containers, yes.
Yeah.
So they bring it to us, and they don't necessarily have to purchase it from us, but if they bring it, it's empty, and they give it to us, then they get 10% off of their purchase. And
Now let me ask you a question, and I don't know if this is you want to tell this trade secret, but how do you is there some sort of business trade off for you for doing this?
yes, so that's what I was
Okay.
going to say. So we basically partnered with a recycling company, basically just kind of teaching Dylan and Alima the purpose of, recycling and trying to save the planet and all of that stuff. But I took it a step further and was like, okay, well, if we partner with this company, then we'll send the recyclables to them and then they will donate to a nonprofit or a school of our choice. So,
Okay.
yeah, so that's what we get out of it.
Okay.
Hmm.
So, all right. So now we could probably do a whole different segment around talking about the insider information, the insider like aha moments you had from starting a beauty supply store. And it's so funny because one of the things that you and I talked about that I think was also part of your motivation was like the beauty industry. You were saying like, African Americans spend like this huge amount, but like the amount of reinvestment we know is probably slim to none. But then also when you become a seller, there's a whole different level of like exclusionary tactics and practices that are happening on the like wholesale side of the beauty industry. And I learned that when I was, working doing when I was a nail technician. Um, I There's like a whole nother market that is specific, that is controlled and open to a whole different demographic of nail technicians.
Right,
And I'm
right,
sure you can read between the lines on that.
right.
I would either have to go to like um almost would be like a it's not retail, but it's like your professional stores for your products, but it was like a franchise. So like, you know, I would have to go to the professional beauty supply store that is a national franchise or nationally owned. But then I found out that there was like all these little small backdoor places that sold the same products for half the price. And
Absolutely.
then when you get the catalog is not in English. And the people in there, they would sell to me. It was no problem, but I had no idea that it existed.
Right.
So, you know, I learned like, wow, not only when I go to the beauty supply store do I see a specific demographic selling to me retail price, but then as a professional, if there's a whole nother lane happening right underneath of us that make like there's a black owned beauty supply store here in Washington D.C. and I'm sure you've experienced this and it's probably opened up some, but access to certain products, the pricing is different. Like you really have to fight to get the same caliber of products, the same amount of products, the same name brands as some of the other beauty supply stores have open access to.
Absolutely. It's pretty much still the same. And I think that is how they were able to monopolize the industry because um, we pretty much have access because there's a whole nother layer to what you were just saying. So now that, the layer is open as far as, being able to go directly to the wholesale, um, they still add additional layers. Even when it comes to something as simple as like hair, um, in order to have a certain brand of hair in your store, you have to spend like $6,000.
Yes,
And if you have a small beauty supply store or only have one store, that
yes,
makes absolutely no sense. So that's kind of how it messes things up. But a way to kind of like go around that is to work with other beauty supply stores. So that was one of the main things that I really did. Once I got started, I started researching other black owned beauty supply stores in my area just to kind of go chop it up with them to see if they would be willing to work with each other, because basically if we need $6,000 and we have, you know, three black owned beauty supply stores, then I put two, you put two, and somebody else put two, then boom, we have the $6,000 because I don't
right,
need $6,000 worth of hair. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
yeah,
So,
yeah,
so it's ways to get around it, but they absolutely try to do that, and that's the thing that our community don't really understand. They come in the stores sometimes, and it could be something as simple as like some gel that they may have seen in Walmart, some edge control they may have seen in Walmart for like $4.29, but in my store maybe $4.99, and it's a complaint. But the thing is, I could never compete with Walmart because of their buying power. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah. And I think that's something that we have to constantly, um, in being a business owner, you're also constantly educating our community on this is why it matters. The extra 50 cents that you're paying,
Yes.
it matters. I'm not just trying to gouge you. Um, this is why it's more, but this is why you need to spend it so that eventually at some point we can get a little bit more equal with some of our counterparts or
Right. If you look, most other people spend in their own community. We are one of the only few, that don't spend in our own community or make a big deal. For me, I never really made a big deal about a 50 cents price, especially like I said, once I got intentional about where I'm spending my dollars, it didn't matter if I had to pay an extra dollar, especially if the customer service was there,
right,
and all that good stuff. And so that's the other part to it, though. As a black owned business, you have to make sure that your customer service is there because
yeah,
if you expect to be supported by the community, then you have to have the customer service that people are looking for, and
right,
just can't think just because I'm a black owned business, people are going to support me because they're black, because that's not the expectation from me anyway.
no, no. And I will say I want to put this out there like so one of the things that I like about your beauty supply store is like you're kind of like the neighborhood beauty supply stores that we are used to. Like you could go there and get some other things.
Right.
You do continue, although you have a brick and mortar store now, you still continue to operate your online site. So for viewers, for listeners, for people who are live streaming with us or who's going to watch this later on YouTube, go to the website AD Beauty and Hair and get the things that you need. Like for example, your feminine hygiene products, your hair, all of those things. You can order it and have it shipped to you. Like one of the things that we have to get used to is that, yeah, in order to be intentional about spending money in your community, you may have to go just another extra step outside of your comfort zone to get to a black owned business, but it's worth it and it's important. At some point, we got to step out of our comfort zones if we're going to be intentional.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. Because I'm like, okay, I need some, I'm guilty, like, because Natasha's my friend, I'm like, girl, do you have so and so and so and so? And she be like, it's on the website.
I don't. I send you a link.
I know, but like,
I do it in a professional way still.
no, not in a bad way. You're send me, but that's the professional way of saying, go to the website. But which is good because I'm like, it helps me to get out of the habit of like, I want to think ahead so that I can think. And that's sometimes what is, sometimes throws me off. I have to think ahead. What do I need so that I can order it and have it shipped to me? But the shipping is fast. You get it right out. You get it turned around. It's always exactly what I need. So, if you are, in need of beauty supplies, we all are. Make sure you go to AD. What's your website? Is it AD or is it A and D?
No, it's adbeautyhair.com. And we have products for men, women, children. We have health and wellness products. We have like the TLC products. A lot of people are doing the detox tea and all of that good stuff. So we have all of that stuff. We have lashes. We have, hair extensions. So we have a little bit of everything.
Yeah, yeah. Now, the final thing, and I can't stress it enough though. I always talk about AD Beauty Hair. I'm always telling people like when they need some braiding, I will be like, do you got this braided hair? Like all the things. Anytime you think you want to go to the beauty supply store, think AD Beauty Hair. But I want to transition to like your latest project. Oh, my question though, like I feel like talking about the business, one of the things I did want you to tell me is how in the world do you fit all of these things in and still be cute, child?
Listen.
And your children are well behaved. Like you're really handling all the business because the kids are well behaved. Little Lima be online in school, and you're still managing, and you're going, and you are also you operate your business as well. I know your children take part in it, but you are hands on with everything. How are you managing all of it?
Yeah, so one of the things that you have to do is you have to change your mindset, especially if you're trying to be an entrepreneur. You have to change your mindset. And very early on, I learned that I would say about 99% of being successful in any business is just showing up. So you have to show up. It doesn't matter whether you have a headache. It doesn't matter if you're just tired. It just doesn't matter. You have to show up. So I just kind of have that mindset. And then you actually have to know what your limits are, what your weaknesses are. And if you have a weakness, then you need to hire somebody for that. Like sometimes as entrepreneurs, we feel like, we have to do everything ourselves. And sometimes we do have to do everything ourselves because, you may not have the money to necessarily, venture out to have somebody else, to have somebody else do things. But investing in yourself and in your business is a big deal. Like you can't just say, okay, I'm gonna start a business. As soon as I make a profit, I'm spending it on, whatever you want to spend it on. No, when you make a profit and you know that you have a weakness with whether it's, even if it's just something as simple as your graphics for social media, then that money needs to go there until you get to the point where, you are making enough money to hire someone to do all of these things. So those are my things. That is probably two of the most important things, making sure you have an A team, and or a money team. I don't really have friends that I'm just like, we just friends just because. Like, all of my friends have a purpose in my life. I have, if I have a friend that's an accountant, I can go to them for certain stuff, and then they can come to me for certain stuff. A lot of times it's just bartering, so it's not like
Yeah.
I'm just, you have to be able to have these relationships that are balanced out,
Yes.
these friendships that are balanced out, where you have these people in your circle, and they know that they can come to you for your expertise, because it's
Yeah.
not always about, oh, every time somebody comes to me and asks me a question, I'm going to charge them or something like that. No, because I have a whole team that I deal with, whether they're on my payroll or not, that if I need some type of advice or something like that, dealing with something in my business, that I can go to for.
Right. Leveraging each
Absolutely.
other's expertise.
That's
Yeah.
that's really important. And then like I said, the main thing that's going to stop you from attaining any goals is you. So you need to identify your triggers. Um, what does it take for you to gain control over your business, or whatever you're trying to do, and do it.
You know what? I think that that last piece is really a piece that we don't really talk about a lot. Is like identifying your triggers and like knowing where you're like. So when you're writing out your goals and you're like following the plan, right? If you aren't really self-aware, you don't necessarily always realize when you are the one standing in your own way. Because you're just thinking, why is this not working? Or you're just thinking, or even if you're saying, why is this not working? You're just thinking, this is not working.
Right.
Or you're looking externally to figure out what someone else is not doing for you, or like what you don't have, or those other external forces. But that, like, really thinking about what is it that you might be doing that's getting in your own way, including mindset, um is a big piece. Like,
I
sometimes
think
we have these subconscious things happening that just stop us in our tracks, and it's like, you gotta, when you feel yourself getting stuck, look inward.
absolutely. I think that is probably the biggest thing that most entrepreneurs miss. But how I reminded myself of it is because, they say well, not they say, but the definition is insanity is continuing to do the same thing, getting the same results. So how often or how long do you do that before you say, hold up, okay, let me take a step back, and, I've been doing this for 6 months, and, nothing has changed.
Or 2 years or whatever.
Right. Or however long that they decided to just kind of stay complacent, and nothing has changed besides, oh, well, I changed this person because they wasn't doing this, and this person was. So if you keep changing the people around you, but you're getting the same results, then at some point you have to, what is the common denominator here? You are. So that's kind of how I always look at it. And that's the part that many entrepreneurs miss. But I think once people get that and really zoom in on what you are doing or not doing as the business owner, you'll kind of move forward out of that.
That's a really good one. That's like a whole like takeaway. Like, 'cause normally when I have guests come on, I ask them to give me a takeaway. That's the takeaway right there. Like,
Yeah,
look into as you are developing your business or developing your goals or even moving to the next level in your business or whatever, look inward to see what you can do differently to increase productivity or increase expertise or increase customer service or just increase satisfaction with what you're doing or whatever. Like, instead of like immediately looking outward at what's not working, look inward to see what you need to do differently to like change results. I love it. I love it. I love it.
absolutely.
Now, on top of that, I said the question was like, how are you doing all this? But the thing that we did not talk about, which is now you are adding onto the list, you are now an author.
Yes.
And that was something that was a surprise to me because when I reached out to you for the show, I was like, hey, Natasha, I want you to come on so you can talk about A&D beauty and hair. And, because that to me, we always love talking to entrepreneurs, but, the hair and beauty ties in with fashion. And you were like, oh, perfect timing, girl. Did you know I just got finished? I'm like, what? So now we got to tie into like the art side. But so tell me about your you're now an authoress, as they used to say on Girlfriends.
So the name of the book is Soul Cries. I don't know if you
Oh,
can
shoot,
see.
wait a minute. You got your background on. We can't see it.
Oh, okay. All right.
We
Well,
got
it's
to
Soul
cover
Cries.
it. I think we have a picture
Yeah,
of it though.
I sent you a picture. It's called Soul Cries, and it's funny how this kind of happened because I've always had an author in me, and I knew that at some point I wanted to write a book, and I had just been, you know, I don't want to say keeping a diary, but I guess it was a diary. I
Mm-hmm.
Because I got a
You was on your
lot.
Moesha?
I was on my Moesha. I have a lot to share. I've been through more than, I mean, I'm glad I don't look like what the stuff that I've been through.
Amen.
Let me just say that. But over the years, I've just been taking notes, writing stuff down, writing my thoughts down, and honestly, it kind of started when I started therapy. But that's a whole nother story,
Mm.
for the Black community. But
Yes.
and so I wanted to put a book out, and my goal was really to put the book out by my 40th birthday, which was last year in March. And because I had so much going on with the store and everything else, it just kind of went to the backside again. So I was like, dang. But then I was given I'm in a women's group on Facebook, and the founder of the group, her name is Tashana Richardson. She had kind of threw out in the group that she was doing a collaboration book. And I was like, oh, that might be a good opportunity for me to kind of just, you know, put my starter chapter in there and kind of get a feel of how people would even feel about the book and everything like that. And
Mm-hmm.
I kind of still would kill two birds with one stone, because even though my full book wouldn't be out by my birthday last March, then something, I still kind of marked off a goal that I wanted to
Yes.
attain. So
Right.
it's like, I'm gonna get down with this. So I reached out to her and was like, yeah, I want to be a part of it. Got all my questions answered, and boom, I was able to kind of put like a introductory chapter together for this book, and then I'm for the book that I'm actually working on that is going to be released this year. So this book is actually a collaboration with like 26 other women, just kind of telling their story about something that they've overcome. A really good book. Um, and my chapter specifically kind of gives you an introduction of a lot of stuff that I've been through. And it's like no holds barred. So I'm really excited about this journey, because the book is actually probably going to be more like a 3-part sequel type of thing, because it's so much.
Really? So
Yeah.
let me ask you a question. Without giving away the story, get
Uh-huh.
like you said, it's an introduction to the things that you've been through. Can you give us a little teaser to let us know, like what? Because if we get the book, we want to turn directly to Natasha.
I mean, it's just, I mean, honestly, if you read the book, and I feel like this particular chapter will give you an introduction about struggles, communication, a whole bunch of stuff when it comes to like relationships, whether you're married or um, in a, in a relationship or whatever. So it's really about my life. But what I did was, because I ain't trying to get sued by nobody, so I changed some names up and all that good stuff. But yeah, a lot of stuff is gonna come out. Some baby daddy's gonna be mad.
Oh, oh. And I had on a couple of weeks ago another author who also has written. She's on her third book, and it's also based on a true story with everybody's names changed.
Yes, like yeah.
People have interesting stories to tell.
I mean, yeah, I survived a lot. And like between God and my mom, like I don't really know if I didn't really have faith in God, or like if I didn't have my mom, I really don't know how I would have got through most of the stuff that I've been through.
And
But
shout out to Mama Robin.
listen, oh, you want to know how I do everything
Right.
like without her? Yeah.
You have your own Gammy. Like how Jada Pinkett Smith
Yes.
has Gammy. You have your own Gammy. That's Mama Robin.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So when you have your, your whatever is the next chapter, but Mama Robin is a little more she's a little more low key than Gammy is,
Oh
but
yeah.
she'll be
Yeah.
right at the table at the round table in the background, like go, 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 go.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, and then like I said, mostly everything that I do is family based.
Yes.
Goes back to the whole mompreneur. Dylan, which is the D in AD Beauty and Hair, he works in the store. So he stays in the store. He loves working in the store.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, my mother actually now works in the store also.
Oh, does she? Okay.
Yeah, so because and that's the other thing. I'm now a teacher, homeschooling with
Yeah.
Lisa, because she's pre-K stuff. So my mom was just like, I think I'll go to the store and work. So I'm home during the
Homeschooling is
day.
not for everybody.
Right. So I'm home during the day with Alima, homeschooling from about 7:45 to about 2:30 every day. And my mother's in the store holding the store down during that time because we open up at like 9. So she's there from like 9 to 3. And then in the evening time, I'll work, or I have two other young ladies that work at the store.
Mm-hmm.
And then Dylan works, he only works on the weekend now that he's homeschooling. But
Yeah.
at one time, he's in there like every day.
Yes, yes. What they say, hustle for your last name. His first name is on the thing, honey.
Absolutely. Right.
So
Right.
where do we get the book?
Um, I don't want to really, I don't, it's
Is
coming.
it out yet? Okay, is it out yet?
So this book is out.
Yeah.
Soul Prize is out. You can order that from the website, adbeautyhair.com. It's on my website, so you can order it there. But my full book will be out this year. I don't have a date yet.
That's still in the works.
Yes.
But you can get Soul Cries to see your introductory chapter, as well as you said about 19 other.
No, it's 26 total.
26
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
women. So these are like short stories, kind of.
Short stories. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. I so normally the end of this is my fashion segment, but we're running out of time. So this is the surprise I did not tell you. So I have some rapid fire questions in regards to fashion.
Okay.
What I want to ask you is either a this or that, an either or question.
Well, I don't know because I come to you for that. So, okay, let's go. Let's go.
I guess I should have said full disclosure. She is one of my clients, but also a friend first. So, and and Natasha, she's definitely one on the team that I call like, girl, I need help with this and I need help with that, and it's always like with a really great like suggestion, solution, resource, and also a great listening ear. Like, girl, I know you can, but always encouraging. So thank you for that. First and foremost, public thanks for that. So, but these are easy this or that questions. This is not, no hardcore stuff. Okay. All right. Leggings or sweatpants?
Sweatpants.
Okay, why?
So for me, because I don't like being tight and just I don't like nothing all super tight on my legs and all that stuff. I rather
Okay. I can get with that. Dresses or pants? And in my mind, I'm seeing if I can answer these. I should know the answers because I'm supposed to know this stuff about you. But dresses or pants?
dress.
That's all I was gonna say. Colorful or neutrals?
I think neutral.
Oh, surprise! All right. What's your favorite item in your closet?
Um, what's my favorite item in my closet?
And it could be a specific thing or it could be a type of thing.
Um, Gosh, that's a hard one. I don't know. What is my favorite thing in my closet? Okay. I don't even know what it's called, but my cousin went to where did she go? I think she was like in Dubai or somewhere, and she brought me back like one of those dresses. That's not the name of it. But it's
Mhm.
so comfortable and the material is so, oh my God. So I
Like a
think that
caftan,
no,
almost like a big flowy dress.
yes, yes.
It's
It's
called
called,
a caftan.
okay, I guess.
Something like that, a caftan. Yeah.
That's my favorite thing in my I like to be comfortable, and
Yeah.
this is even before COVID. Like honestly, I'm not that girl that's like, okay, every day I'm getting up, getting dressed, going out or whatever. I'm doing it a lot more now that I'm in the store, but
Mhm.
pre brick and mortar, like no, because most of my stuff has always been work from home. You know, even my property management stuff, I just need my computer. I can work anywhere,
Mhm.
and I just want to be comfortable. So unless
Okay,
I'm
so
going out
caftan.
somewhere, I'm throwing that on and I'm walking around the house freely, like yeah.
But they're usually really pretty and comfortable, like really pretty colors. So like if you have to jump on a video call and it's just from like here up, it looks great.
Yeah,
And
yeah, oh yeah,
I did a whole segment on caftans because listen, I think we all should have those in our closet, especially right about now. And if you
right,
run out, you can throw a belt on with it and you know, super
absolutely. So yeah,
cute.
that's probably my favorite thing right
Now, what on the flip side of that, what would you say is your current style dilemma?
now. The weather. For me, the weather here because one minute is nice, the next minute, it's cold as hell, and then I'm just like, okay, what am I wearing to the store today? And
Yeah.
then also because I feel like now I have to wear something different to the store every day because people see me all the
Mhm.
time. So I'm like,
Mhm.
I can't wear this. I wore this 2 weeks ago. So
Oh, okay. Okay. And you
yeah.
know, that's something that's interesting. You say the weather because nowadays, I kind of talked about this on a whole nother show about layering,
Mhm.
how the seasons are a little more unpredictable than they used to be. It's no more like a definitive super cold winter and then like a spring and then a summer. Like
Yeah,
everything is a little bit like you don't know what it's going to be like from day to day.
absolutely. You don't.
Like I
Like
didn't put away all my like warm weather stuff, and I didn't put away all my cold weather stuff. I was like, I don't know.
especially here in Atlanta, you can't, and even like the other day, it was like they were calling, I think they were calling for snow or something. And then I know in North Carolina, that's where my in-laws are. They had snow there, and here one day it was like 70 degrees. So I'm just like, you just don't know. Some days I don't have to wear a coat, other days I have to wear a coat, a hat, and everything else. And I'm just like, look, I mean, I'm over it. So
Enter work from home.
right, right.
Well, Natasha, I am, and shout out to your makeup artist. Let's go ahead and give her a plug.
Yeah, so but listen, I'm so mad because my phone went that I didn't even realize my phone was about to go dead, but it did. And I didn't have my charger,
Oh
and
no.
it's on I was on my live on Instagram. So and she was on there, so she would have
Oh,
probably went crazy if she heard that. But
oh.
Sophie did my makeup, and her Instagram is Face by Sophie. So
Face by Sophie.
y'all go follow her.
Yeah, it
And
looks great. Let me look. Let me show the people watching.
yeah, she did that. She did that. Face by Sophie. So yeah.
So cute. Yes, yes. Talking about entrepreneurs, but she has a great. This is your like. This is your bonus daughter.
Yeah, that's Quadrate's girlfriend.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well, she has a great role model to get herself started in business. So hopefully, I'm sure she's always sitting around soaking up all the good energy for around how to build a business.
Yeah, she's been doing, and she now works in the store too. So she's been
Yes, leveraging. Talk about
yeah,
leveraging. That's
she's
kids.
been doing makeup for a minute, but now she's really getting serious about it, to the point where she's about to start like offering her services to people for pay. And so, I'm her test dummy for right now. But
Yeah, well,
yeah,
she's doing a great
she's
job.
good. So
So,
yeah.
well, I would like to thank you for taking some time out of your ever busy schedule to join us on Art Loves Fashion. I had a great time. This was like not only guests on the show, but this was like our catch up moment.
I know, right? I know. And listen, I gotta come back because I mean, I missed like half of everything else that we didn't get to talk about Cameron's Angels or anything. But
I know. Well, you know what? We got to pencil it in and have you come back on so we can talk about Cameron's Angels. We also there was a few things on the list that we needed to talk about.
the
So,
lives, the every lot, the lives for the beauty supply store. So
yes.
yeah, a couple
Okay.
things
And what days do you go live on the beauty supply store?
on Thursdays at 8 p.m.
And that's when you're going live so people can see the
So
store.
on Thursdays at 8, I kind of go live to talk about all things AD beauty and hair, any type of events that we have. Kind of introduce our vendors for Small Business Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah, any
Well,
new
I'll
projects.
definitely post it up on, I'll try to remember to post it when it's getting ready to happen so people can know to come on live. And I gotta I'm gonna try to pop in and be like, bring me on.
Okay. Yeah,
But
absolutely.
yes, I would love to have you come back again to continue to talk about all of the I Am Natasha Cameron goings on. And I wish you much continued success with the beauty supply store, all the other businesses. We're going to go and look for Soul Cries, and we're going to be waiting patiently for the rest of the
Yes.
table. You said it's going to be a trilogy.
Listen, yeah, with all I have to share, it's gonna be a trilogy. So
Well,
yeah,
we'll be waiting for that work of art to come out soon. So, and with that, guys, that is today's episode of Art Loves Fashion. Um, Again, I thank you for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Have a wonderful rest of the week, and I'll see you next Sunday from 5 to 10. And I have like a really fun guest planned for next week. Um, so stay tuned. I'll see you next time.
hi.
Welcome to Art Loves Fashion. I'm your host, Sharonda Irvin. I'm an image consultant, professional developer, art curator and collector, a wife and a mom. This show, Art Loves Fashion, is about, you guessed it, art, love, and fashion. We'll be meeting new people, trying interesting things, and hopefully learning something new. Sounds kind of vague, right? That's because I want you to join me on Sundays at 5 o'clock as we take a journey of all things creative and beautiful with art, loves, fashion.